From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big night as Americans celebrate the 4th of July, but may be coming home to a big surprise. And that surprise is a recession underway. The economic details tonight, the breaking news, the financial news is not good. That's why you have to get that fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. We're going to get those big sums of money, and you are as well. Step 1, go right in this video, become a member. Step 2, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And step 3, stay the second half as we go over these incredible checks one at a time. Why do you need to get these checks? Because there is a big financial cliff coming, and that financial cliff is just days away. Get these four stimulus checks, nearly $100,000 in every U.S. state. They're federal stimulus sent by the federal government. We'll go over these incredible checks in tonight's recording. Unemployment remains a high, and the layoffs, hiring, and freezes and store closures continue to grow. This is a big signal that the financial cliff is approaching. Meantime, gas prices remain high despite the efforts of the White House. Why has the White House not gotten this right? I'll have the latest details tonight, what you need to know on that front. Also at issue this evening is the big concern about your money, and that's why the Build Back Better Act is back. But is it better? It's back, but is it better? All the latest details tonight on what you need to know. And then finally, the excitement of your benefits going up. SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more are going up. It's a great night with a lot of money, but the narrative is very clear. Inflation has not peaked yet. The situation continues to get worse. Unemployment continues to grow. Gasoline prices have not stabilized, and with price of goods going higher, the recessionary winds picking up, the mortgage rates continue to track higher, and gasoline prices not going lower, consumer confidence eroding. You need to get the four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Go right in this video and become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and stay to the second half as we go over all those incredible checks. It's a big night for 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. Are you ready for the money? It's evenings, and the breaking news starts right now on LALATE. And good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful night here along the land. And if there was ever a night to get a fourth stimulus check, it's tonight, because the U.S. economy is approaching a recession. And tonight, you're going to learn why that recession may already be underway. How do you get those incredible checks, and how much money are they? They are nearly, on average, $100,000 in every U.S. state. When I say every U.S. state, it's not sent out from the state. It's not state stimulus. It's not sent out from your legislator. You don't like your governor? Don't like the state that you live in? Don't worry. It's not from them. It's from the federal government. It's from Joseph Biden by executive order. And I'm going to go over these $100,000 of stimulus checks later in this recording. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, it averages about $100,000 in every U.S. state. It's federal stimulus, and it's coming up later in this recording. Go right in this video, become a member, and stay with me for the big second half. Tonight, we have a lot of major breaking news to start with, and we're going to go over everything you need to know from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you had a beautiful 4th of July, but the 4th of July is signaling in the month of July, and bad economic data left and right. Let's go over all the breaking news starting tonight. Starting tonight, we're going to go over the importance of getting that fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state, because the economic situation for this economy is eroding day in, day out. Every day, the economy is getting weaker than the day before. And what's going to happen is that millions of Americans are going to scamper, speed, rush to get that fourth stimulus check quickly across the land. You don't want to wait for that. And what is your lead time? We had always talked about the lead time as September, but tonight we're going to learn that potentially the lead time may just be days away. Yes, a recession may already be underway. The breaking news we're going to go over starting right now. A new report from the Atlanta GDP Now, which is a live tracking agency, reveals that the U.S. economy may already be in a recession tonight. This is a shocker, and let me go over the breaking news of it starting right now. What is a recession? A recession is defined two negative quarters of GDP growth. We already know that the first quarter of the U.S. economy this year for 2022 was negative, is 1.6%. But what about the second quarter? Well, we would normally have to wait to July 28th to hear the confirmation of whether the second quarter was a negative quarter of growth in this economy from the Department of Labor. But we have a surprise. It's the Atlanta Fed GDP Now. The data was released on Friday after the end of the month of June. And their live data, it's not time delayed, it's live data, revealed that they believe the second quarter of this year ended with negative GDP growth, down 1%. If their data is correct, that means we've had two consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth, and that we're in recession. We're in a recession. How reliable is the Atlanta Fed GDP Now tracking system? It has a 0% inaccuracy in the last 15 years. It's very accurate. Now, we also have the National Bureau of Economic Research, who is a big analyzer of recessions. And they say, just because you have two negative quarters of GDP growth doesn't mean you go in recession. But every time it's happened since World War II, they remind the American people it's happened. Every time you've had two negative quarters of GDP growth, you go in recession. So what is their takeaway? If it's not a recession today, it's going to be a recession shortly thereafter. Back in the month of February, I was the only American broadcast to report we're going to recession. At the time, Americans would never even talk about a recession, talk about how wonderful this economy was. And I said, it's not good. We're facing a recession straight on. When did I say the recession's coming? And what is the data tonight? And what is the difference when you talk about a financial cliff? The situation tonight is that I'm still standing my position. I believe that a recession is coming in January 2023, that this tonight is not a recession. Rather, it's impact of inflation on the U.S. economy that's stalling up. If I'm correct, then the recession means that the phases we've discussed on this channel over the last few weeks are correct as well. Let's look at those phases starting right now. The phases are a series of periods, which I delineated to viewers back less than a month ago. Now to September is phase 1. September to January is phase 2, and January thereafter is phase 3. I define now as a slowing of the economy. I define phase 2 as a financial cliff, and I define phase 3 as a recession. What would you expect in the next 90 days? Well, you would expect unemployment to go higher, gasoline prices to go higher, and interest rates to go higher. Price of goods to pick up, recessionary winds to pick up, mortgage rates to pick up. Meantime, consumer confidence, spending, and income to drop. Well, that is likely what's happening tonight, folks, because there's big problems, and the big problems are left and right. The big problems left and right are manifesting themselves across the board, and if this is a recession tonight, then guess what? That would be a major surprise. I don't believe that the Atlanta Fed GDP Now is inaccurate. I believe it is accurate. And I believe that this is really the tailspin of an economy. What's also at issue tonight is that inflation is not peaked. Inflation is not peaked. And if inflation is not peaked, then Jay Powell has not gotten it right. And the data tonight reveals that Jay Powell has not gotten inflation down. He has failed. Who told you that? I told you this first, no less than 4 months ago. The Federal Reserve only has one tool to get inflation down, and that one tool is raising interest rates. And what has Jay Powell done? 3/4 of a basis point, quarter and half. And has it worked? Well, tonight we look at the data to determine whether Jay Powell has failed or succeeded. Going into the 4th of July weekend, we had another number released to us, and it was the core personal consumption number. And that core PCE number was released, and headline inflation showed it did not go down. Not good for Jay Powell. Well, let's look at the numbers. It brings us back to the month of April and the month of March. This data released last Friday was the month of May's data. Of course, it's 1 month delayed. It came in late June. For the month of March, the headline inflation was 6.6%. For the month of April, it's 6.3%. For the data released last Friday, it was 6.3%. Any change? Not much of a change. That's despite Jay Powell doing 3/4, half, and quarter. It doesn't work. Raising interest rates does not reduce inflation. And that's why the graphic says inflation is not peaked. It is not peaked. And that is exactly what Liz Warren asked Jay Powell. Liz Warren, of course, is the beloved senator from Massachusetts. Jay Powell is the head of the Federal Reserve. Their exchange on the Senate Banking Committee last week was noteworthy. She asked Jay Powell, is it true that the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate to get inflation under control, price stability, and two, to get maximum employment? He said, yes, that is the dual mandate. She then said, well, what if you're going after the inflation too aggressively and you're making people unemployed? He said, that's a potential. She said, what is the potential right now? Is it potential that you're sending us over a financial cliff, Jay Powell? He said, based upon the world events that are unfolding and the economic environments that are getting very difficult, it is very possible we are facing a financial cliff. Folks, a financial cliff is very serious. What is a financial cliff? It basically means that people who do not watch this economy on a regular basis, like watching this channel, watching LALATE, do not know how severe something's about to hit them. Walking along, singing a song, and then finally, out of nowhere, you trip off a hill financially. And that is an abrupt change in the economy. And that is what is going to happen. I've been reporting for over 2 weeks. The financial cliff is still going to happen. When do I project it? September. How severe will it be? It's going to impact people who are employed. It's going to impact people who are retired. It's going to impact people who are unemployed, and it's going to impact young and old. Let's look at all the equations starting right now. For employed people, the situation has already manifested itself. They think there's job stability. They think there's job security. They think there's a lot of jobs out there, and they think that there's unemployment assistance if they get in a bind. All of that is inaccurate. Let's look at the data right tonight. The situation for unemployment is that it's high. The number of unemployment claims in this U.S. economy continue to track higher. 230,000 new jobless claims every week, week after week. I've been projecting this day after day, week after week. It came in at 200. I said it's going to go to 230. It did go to 230. And how many weeks has it stayed at 230,000 jobless claims new per week? 3 consecutive weeks. This is out of control. Meantime, we have the corporations dealing with the situation. It started in the month of May when Walmart and Target announced that there were too many employees in the stores. They said they needed to deal with that accordingly. That's another way to say they're laying people off. Well, what happened thereafter? The layoffs came. The layoffs came with Tesla, 10%, Coinbase, 18%, continued with Netflix, it continued with Snap, and the hiring freezes followed thereafter with Tesla, and store closures with the Silicon Valley branch of Tesla closed last week. Folks, this is a bad situation. And what you need to know is that the American employee believes that they're laid off, there's another job for them. There isn't. This week, we'll see on Friday the non-farm payroll jobs number release, and that's not expected to be good. Wall Street's looking at 250,000 new jobless claims, new jobs created. This is June non-farm payroll numbers released this Friday. That would be a major drop, down from 390,000 created in the month of May. I think the market's caught between two narratives, says one strategist. I don't think it's once good news or bad news. At first, the hot economic news was because the Fed could go to another 75 basis point, but now the market doesn't want softer news. What is the handling? What the analyst is saying is that the data is too weak. People are going to freak out, then we're in a recession. If the data is too strong, too good, then they're fearful that the Federal Reserve is going to raise those rates. On the unemployment situation, I'm fearful of the following: that Americans believe that the unemployment stimulus of 2020 is still around. FPUC, $600 a week, gone. The PEUC, those extra weeks of benefits if you're unemployed, gone. The PUA, unemployment benefits for independent contractors, gone. And then small business owners, all your stuff is gone. EIDL grant, EIDL loan, PPP, all of that is gone. What I'm deeply worried is that Americans going to think that their economy is great, and then they trip over that financial cliff. And guess where they're going to be coming? Here, to battle that stimulus that you see tonight. That's why you don't wait to get stimulus, because the financial cliff is just days away, at least in September. but potentially even earlier than that. That's why you go right in this video and become a member. Get that incredible force stimulus check in every U.S. state by becoming a new member of the channel, getting the membership newsletter Monday through Friday via the member alerts on YouTube, and getting those big sums of money as quickly as possible. Now, what if you're not an employee? What will the financial cliff impact you? How will it impact you? Let's go over the details of it right now. It will impact you as inflation has not peaked and your price of goods that you pay for at the market will continue to go higher. It will impact you if you're on benefits like SSI and SSDI and your benefit lift has not happened either yet. And the situation will continue to erode left and right. Now, here's what you also need to know across the board, is that among those other problems hitting this economy is that gasoline prices remain high. Yes, gasoline prices have come down in the last few days. Brent crude tracking at 111 and the U.S. unleaded tracking about 480, down about 20 cents. But folks, that's a big problem. That's a big problem because that's going to send you in recession. Gasoline prices remaining high send you into recession. And let's go over the equation of it starting right now. The reason why is that gasoline is a part of a component of a number. That number is the CPI. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, will be released in the next few days. And that CPI number is going to tell you if gasoline was higher or gasoline was lower. That would signal that you're going into a recession. What's at issue? Let's go over the equation starting right now. If the CPI in the next few days is released and it shows that inflation has not peaked, well, guess what happens? Federal Reserve comes in more aggressively. Jay Powell's going to raise those interest rates. What is he going to do? 0.75 basis point in the month of July. They're off in August. Then back in September, imagine if inflation is not peaked by then, Jay Powell is going to freak out. Now, we already know from early in this recording that inflation has not peaked. Jay Powell continues to say he's going to get inflation down. He's not. He continues to say he's going to get down to 2% later this year. He's not. I was the first to say he wasn't. I said 4%. Department of Labor and the Congressional Budget Office both confirmed my reporting. But what's changing tonight is that the American people are starting to realize what Jay Powell's saying is not accurate. They're starting to realize, wait a second, this guy's consistently said something inaccurate. He said inflation was going to come at 2 to 3% last year. I said 8% in December. Wrong. He said temporary at 2 to 3%. I said not. It's going to be prolonged. Wrong. He's 0 for 2. Now, he said, let me raise interest rates in March, April, May, June. I'll get it down. Wrong, wrong, wrong. How many times has he been wrong since last year? I'm counting about 4 or 5 times now so far. And he still says 2% inflation later this year. The narrative is going to change, and the American people start to not really believe Jay Powell anymore. And they're starting to realize he's not believable. Starting with Liz Warren, but it's going to start to erode more across the board. Who's also starting to not look believable? It's Joe Biden when talking about gasoline. And remember that gasoline is what's going to send you in a recession. And that Jay Powell, gasoline problems caused by Joe Biden is causing the problems of Jay Powell. Let me explain the ebb and flow of what's at issue right now. If gasoline prices remain high, then Jay Powell raises interest rates. If Joe Biden doesn't fix gasoline prices, then gasoline prices remain high. And then Jay Powell raises interest rates. And guess what happens? Gasoline prices still remain high. Because raising interest rates does not bring down the price of gasoline. Tonight, the White House continues to pump out the same narrative, but it's starting to look like the American people no longer believe the narrative. What is the narrative? The narrative announced by the White House going into the weekend, the 4th of July, was that gasoline prices are staying high because of Putin. Those comments made by the president at a NATO conference. True or false? Hideously false. Very false. The reason why the gasoline prices remain high is because of Biden and the Western allies. Or should I say that 3 times? Let me explain the situation starting right now. Gasoline is very easy for the American public to understand. If there's a shortage of gasoline prices remain high. Most Americans understand that. So why is there a shortage of gasoline? Most Americans understand why it started, but most Americans don't understand why it's continued. They understand it started because of Putin, but not generally as to the specifics. The reason was caused by Putin was because after Putin invaded Ukraine, the Western allies, Germany, France, the United States, England, and the rest of them, banned Russian oil. How much oil disappeared? If you include that plus the OPEC plus reduced capacity at the same time, 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. Okay, that's a lot. So what happens after that? If you do not replace the missing barrels of gasoline per day, then gasoline prices remain high. That's the correct, truthful story. The story being told by the White House is an inaccurate story. The reason why gasoline prices remain high is because of Putin. Inaccurate. Putin is not driving the prices up high. They popped initially when the Western allies banned Putin oil. But the reason why gasoline prices remain high is because the Western allies have not gone out and bought some oil. And as the Western allies continue to not buy oil, the gasoline prices remain high. It's a very simple statement. What has the White House said? A series of inaccurate narratives that the American people are starting to not buy. Number one, the White House has said that the culprit in here is ExxonMobil and the U.S. oil producers. Inaccurate. They don't have 3.5 million barrels of gasoline in the ground. They don't have anything to pump that amounts to 3.5 million barrels. Number two, the White House has said we'll give the American worker a little breathing room by giving you a tax holiday on the taxes you pay the federal government for oil at the gas station. True or false? Well, not really true at all. It's $1.80. Most cars have a 10-gallon gas tank. And the tax, 18 cents. 18 cents times 10 is $1.80. Much breathing room? Not at all. United Arab Emirates is the solution. OPEC Plus, Venezuela, Brazil, and yet the White House continues to avoid the solution. Let's go of the solution and why the White House is now starting to really not look truthful to the American people when addressing gasoline. The reason why the White House is starting to not look truthful is because there's only one way to solve the situation with gasoline. The Western allies, all of them as one team, who initially all as one team banned Russian oil, now as one team go get oil replaced by going to buy it. Now, not now. They should have done it in March. They should have done this last year when 100,000 Russian troops were at that Ukraine border, but at least in March. Folks, this is July. What are their choices? Brazil, Venezuela, OPEC Plus, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Let's go with the equation of the potential of each of them. Venezuela and Brazil, not likely to happen. Why? The White House had a conference here in Los Angeles in the month of June, the Americas, and disavowed Brazil and Venezuela from attending, did not allow them to come. Think they're going to do a deal with you? No, they're not going to do a deal with you. Number three, the President of the United States is going to Saudi Arabia and was asked, are you going to Saudi Arabia to buy oil? No, I'm not. Why not? What's the big problem? Number four, OPEC Plus has said we're ramping up production. They're ramping up production to about 648,000 new barrels a day. That's good news for you. They could ramp up more. We could buy more. Has the Western allies reached out to OPEC Plus, of which Saudi Arabia is a partner? No. Finally, the best of the five, which is Iran. Iran has 3.5 million barrels of gasoline for us. Iran has been the subject of negotiations between the White House and Iranian officials since before the Putin invasion of Ukraine. What's the agreement called? The potential agreement's called the JCPOA. It involves removing embargoes of Iranian products like oil in exchange for Iran reducing and eliminating their nuclear warheads. The deal looked really close in the month of April, as negotiators on behalf of the United States, Germany, and France were negotiating with Iran in Switzerland. And then it fell apart. We didn't know why. But going into the 4th of July weekend, we learned why. As Iranian officials said, the U.S.'s demands during this JCPOA negotiations in the last 3 days have been so obstreperous, non-moving, not very conciliatory, we're not going to negotiate anymore. Look bad? It does look bad. And so the takeaway is that this job of getting oil bought by Joe Biden and the Western allies is not getting done. And that this job of price stability by reducing inflation is going to result with Jay Powell raising up interest rates. And what Liz Warren and I have been talking about is going to happen. Financial cliff is going to happen because Jay Powell is going to see that gasoline prices remain high and that gasoline prices continue to drive inflation higher, not peak, and that Jay Powell is going to try to bring inflation down by raising interest rates. And just as Liz Warren and I have been saying, we're going to go over financial cliff. That financial cliff is going to be caused by gas prices remaining high. And as Joe Biden was asked 2 weeks ago, is a recession inevitable? He said no. Again, untrue. It is inevitable if you don't get gasoline prices down by buying gasoline. It's that simple of equation, and it's not likely to change, as the White House seems to not have grasped this narrative for a very long time. Fine. Sideline note is there is no 3.5 million barrels of gasoline in the ground or in the seas around the United States. We don't have it, so we can't pump it. We can't pipe it. There's not availability for us on our soils. With that, you got to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state because inflation is tracking higher and has yet to come down, and that is why you can't wait to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Now, let me go over these checks starting right now and go over the importance of understanding that this money is here now. It's big money. It's everywhere. And you generally qualify, and it's nearly $100,000. These forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are the result of efforts by the White House. Yes, these are executive order forced stimulus checks across the land, and let's go over each of those checks starting right now. A forced stimulus check in every U.S. state was first manifested itself in the month of March. I found it when viewers of this channel said, hell, I need money. Get me money right now. Get me a forced stimulus because Congress hasn't gotten that Build Back Better Act done. And viewers understand on this channel, get money when times are good. Don't wait for your back against the wall when times are bad. And I found these checks, and viewers have been getting these checks. And they are averaging about $100,000 across the land. Let's go over what you need to know. Number one, this is federal stimulus. It's federal stimulus. It's from the federal government. Number two, it's from the presidency, the executive branch. So there's no vote needed. No Congress needed. Number three, it is not state stimulus. It is not from your state. It's not paid by your state. It's not mailed by your state. Maybe they put the stamp on the envelope. But other than that, they are not involved in paying the money. So do not write in the live chat, my state is not helping people. Well, that might be true, but this is not state stimulus. This is not state stimulus. This is from the federal government. So you don't have to worry if you don't like your governor, your legislature, or anything about your state, because it's not coming from them. How do you get these incredible sums of money? You become a member. You go right under this video and hit the link where it says join the channel under the video. Become a member of this channel. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday via the member alerts. Stay to the second half as we go over these incredible checks in every U.S. state. You got to get them because a financial cliff is coming. You got to get them because a recession is coming. You got to get them because we may have an announcement as early as July 28th that we're already in recession. Become a member and get those incredible checks in the second half. Also in the second half, we go over not only these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state, but the raising up of your benefits across the land. And we also go over the excitement of the Build Back Better Act back. Yes, it's back, but is it better or is it about the same? We'll go over everything you need to know during the commercial break. Become a member and get ready for that second half as we go over these big checks and we go over the raising up of your benefits and the other money coming thereafter. It's a big second half and I have a lot of money for you. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. As America's most watched show in financial news in prime time continues, it's Evenings LALATE. See you back in 60 seconds as the broadcast and the details of all this incredible money continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more.
Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now in the big second half of a beautiful July 4th, 2022 broadcast. Have you become a member? Go right in this video and become a member. Get that incredible member newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the member alerts so that you get access to this nearly $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. And in this big second half, we're going to go over each of these checks one at a time. Get your pen and paper ready to take notes. And if you're a member of this channel, pull out your worksheets. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. Eligibility is so important for me. I want to make sure that most of you are qualifying for these checks. And that's why viewer Kat, a longtime viewer, says, "Hello, you are very big on eligibility." I am. I want to make sure you get them. And let's go over that eligibility starting right now. A single individual, $75,000 or less annual income, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 or less annual income, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits or no, or else, go get them. These are incredible checks. Number two, they're from the federal government. They're from the executive branch, the presidency. They're not from your state. So it's not state stimulus. It's not a state stimulus check. Your state is not sending you the money. It's not their money. It's not their law. Number three, you got to forget everything you remember from 2020 and 2021 because this is a new year. It's new money, and it's a lot of it. It's a lot of money. It's averaging about $100,000. And finally, it's a lot of different checks. It's a lot of different checks. And I have lettered them one at a time, starting with letter A and continuing thereafter. You ready? Let's go get them. We start with the wonderful check A. It's a $6,500 to $12,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, go get it as well. This incredible check is astronomical. These forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state are huge, and my focus is to make sure you get every check you can. This very first check is $6,500 to $12,000. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. How do you get this wonderful check? Step one, subscribe to this channel. Step two, become a member. Go under the video where it says the button, join the channel, and become a member of LALATE. Then get that member newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts sent for members of LALATE, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go down the membership newsletter till you find Check A and click the link, and you will go right into that wonderful Check A. Choose your state, then choose the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant, and pounce. But you're not done there yet. No way. You're going to go get Check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Individuals who are on benefits like SSI and SSDI, go get it as well. It is wonderful. And how do you get this wonderful check? You know the routine. Step one, subscribe to this channel. Step two, become a member of LALATE. Number three, go down in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get this wonderful Check B. There's a link. You click the link. You go into the website. Then it sends you to your state. Then you pounce. Imagine how much money we've got in just the last 3 minutes. That's $15,000 to $80,000. Then $6,500 to $12,000. That is nearly $100,000 right there. But we're not done there yet. We're going to go get Check C. Oh my goodness. $2,000 a month over 12 months on average, an MSC monthly stimulus check. But baby, the money is even bigger than that, with many viewers averaging $45,000 and lots getting over $100,000 to $200,000. How do you get that wonderful Check C? Same way, but a little bit of a twist. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. And step 3, go down in the membership newsletter till you find Check C. It'll tell you who to call, what to say, and when to say it. And one of the things I'm projecting is that Check C will be one of the most important checks of 2022. We already got a preview of this early in the recording. Number 1, the landlord comes knocking on the door saying you're going to get evicted. And some people may think there's still an eviction moratorium. There is not. Go get Check C for rent assistance. The bank contacts you, says you're behind on the rent, on the mortgage. We're about to foreclose. And then you say to yourself, but there's a mortgage forbearance. No, there isn't. That's gone as well. Go get Check C for mortgage assistance. What about the utility company? It says you haven't paid the gas bill or the heating oil. I know it's very expensive, sir, but you haven't paid it. We're going to turn off the service. But they can't turn off the service. It's 2022. No, that law went out in 2020. That's why you got to get Check Cs. The Check Cs are part of the nearly $50 million that this channel has gotten viewers since it launched on April 25th, 2020. As LALATE is the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, heading to number 2, what we have done is gotten people big sums of money since day one. And let's look at some of the success stories for Check C for many viewers who have gotten over $100,000 to date. Let's look at the success stories for Check C. Individuals have learned to listen and pounce and get round after round after round of these monies. Would you like $20,000 for Nisi all the way up to $27,000 for rent for Elizabeth? You can go Check C. And then, how about some utilities? Well, Angela got $5,000. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Snap, $25,000 a year for 10 years is $250,000, and that's what Mark's brother-in-law is getting. And there is the combination of checks. The combinations of checks. Nisi at $23,000, Mark at $32,000, but that was back then in November. Guess where they are tonight? Nisi is nearly $50,000, Mark is at $166,000. Nisi keeps on getting checks every few days. She's on the live chat every night, and Mark is as well. Here's Mark. He went from $33,000 to $50,000 to $100,000. Then he got Check B. He's at $166,000. Lorraine, she's at $105,000, and now she's at $150,000. That's what they do because that's what I teach. You get a check today, you continue to get a check, and you don't stop getting checks. It's important to understand this economy is really shrinking very dramatically. And you need to get this money today, but you don't get money for checks today. You keep on getting checks on a regular basis. I have viewers who have been getting checks from this channel since the earliest days of 2020 and are still getting checks from this channel every few days. And that is the importance of becoming a member. Step 1, go to the front of this channel and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, go under this video and there is a button that says join the channel. Click the button and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Number 3, get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday. We'll go back to that in a second. Number 4, there's a little bell at the front of this channel. Hit that bell so that's set to all notifications. All right, let's go back to that newsletter. It's delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is Pacific Standard Time. If you're not on the West Coast, learn your time zoning. There will be a different time zone for you. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's delivered via the YouTube alerts for members. You'll get an alert from YouTube at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that says new LALATE post. Down in the alert, the first line says the LALATE newsletter tonight. And then lower in the alert, it says click here to go to the full post. The full post is the newsletter. And there you go. You go down the newsletter and you click it for A, you click for B, you click for Check C, you click for A and B and you call for Check C, and you get these big sums of money. Now, what's important to understand is that these big sums of money are needed right now because the economy is spiraling out of control, and it may spiral out of control faster than I even projected. Remember, I said a financial cliff is coming in September. Remember, I said a recession is coming next year. But imagine if July 28th you wake up and the American economy is shook when the Department of Labor potentially says we're already in recession. They look at the growth numbers for GDP in the second quarter, and they say the same thing that the Atlanta Fed GDP now said on Friday. It was a negative growth quarter, and that means you're in recession. Imagine how many Americans are going to be looking for stimulus checks that night. You don't wait for that event to happen. Now, we also have big news tonight as your benefits are going up. SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more. What's going on? Let's go over the equation. First, there is a projection, and then there's an actual calculation. Let's go over everything you need to know on this front. It stems from a number. That number will be released in the month of July, August, and September. The number is called the CPI-W. It determines COLA, and COLA is a benchmark that determines how much your benefits go up. When that number is released for the month of May, and we saw it in June, the Social Security saw that number for the month of May, and they said, well, if it's much the same for July, August, September, we're projecting your benefits are going up 8%. Chief Actuary Goss said 8% is likely to happen if that May number manifests itself in July, August, and September's read. I don't agree because I think that's a little bit undervaluing it. If it's undervaluing it, then that matter is that CPI-W, which is impacted by gasoline, may actually even be higher. And if it's higher, how much higher? I'm projecting 9%. I'm projecting 9%. A nonprofit organization, the Senior League, is projecting 8.6%. 8% is $300 more per month, not just 1 month, but a lifetime. 8.6 is probably about $350, and 9% could be even more. That is all really good news for you as well. Also good news is that a familiar face is back. And what is that familiar face? It is the Build Back Better Act. Yes, the Build Back Better Act is back, but is it better or is it something different? Let's go over the equation of the Build Back Better Act starting right now. First, it's important to understand that I put the Build Back Better Act later in the recording for an obvious reason. It's not going to help you survive the financial cliff. The Build Back Better Act is not going to pay you a check before the financial cliff. And if that financial cliff is September, it's not going to pay you one before then. If the Department of Labor announces that we're in recession on July 28th, it's Build Back Better Act is not going to pay you a check by July 28th. So I believe Build Back Better Act is going to pass and it's going to pay you money, but that money is not going to come for you soon enough to avoid the financial cliff. That's why you get these 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. And you also get Build Back Better Act. Let's go over the update on Build Back Better Act starting right now. We're going to go over the negotiations. We're going to go over the narrative, and then we're going to go over the substance. The negotiations, big news. Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer have been negotiating on a regular basis. I've been reporting for several months. Well, the Four Corners, which are the 2 leading Democrats in the House and Senate, met last week and agreed upon a framework for the Build Back Better Act to get done. This is huge. Number 2, Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer reached an agreement. The majority leader of the Senate and the senator from West Virginia reached an agreement on prescription medication. This is a big one. We don't know the breadth of how big it is. We'll be seeing that in a second, but this is a big one. And number 3, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are back saying they're going to get it done by July. The end of July is when they're projecting the vote. There's no reason we shouldn't pass this bill through Congress in July, says Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in a joint statement released last week. We are urging our congressmen to work with urgency like the situation deserves. Ridiculousness? Well, Nancy and Chuck do not have a good track record with the month of July. I'll just leave it at that. All right, let's go to this narrative. You're going to hear Mitch McConnell talk about some crazy stuff. Now, remember, Mitch McConnell's not needed for the Build Back Better Act. In fact, no Republican is needed. It's a reconciliation, which means it does not require any votes from the opposing party. As a reconciliation budget bill from the Democrats, it does not need a Republican vote. That's the first thing I want you to know. Number 2, you're going to hear about a bipartisan bill. That is not the roads and bridges. It is something for semiconductors. I believe it's a fake narrative. It's not going to confuse you. Number 3, it's important to note that there's a lot of bad Manchin quotes from 2020 and 2011. I don't want those to run in your mind because those are outdated quotes. The status today is that Joe Manchin wants to get it done. Finally, let's go over the provisions. Let's go over the provisions of the Build Back Better Act, to which I have to laugh that I think some people have sort of reinvented the Build Back Better Act in their mind, thinking certain provisions were in there that were never in there. Oh, there was a provision in there for a Bentley and brand new Rolls. Did you not know that, LA? Yeah, I forgot seeing that. That's sort of what's going on. The Build Back Better Act is $15,000 to $80,000 of checks, but they're not automatic checks. You got to do something to get them. $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. I believe that provision would stay in there. $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. I believe that provision would stay in there. And the MSC, $2,000 the first month for $1,000 thereafter, $6,500. I don't know. It initially was not in there, but they vowed to add it in there. I don't know, but do I care? Well, the checks I have for you are a lot more than $6,000 right tonight. Let's go over the individual clusters. Cluster number 1, hazard pay. Earned income tax credit, 1 more year for my essential workers. I believe it'll survive. $4,000 elder care. I believe it survives. $4,000 to care for young children. Yes, I believe that would survive as well. Nutrition, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric car. I believe that will survive along with the home repairs. Cluster number 2 has other home repairs, but those are to weatherize your home. Those are check A's. They were removed from the Build Back Better Act. They're now law. They're check A's we already went over. I don't believe they're surviving, obviously. Paid leave, I believe that's gone. I don't believe Joe Manchin is going to do it. And the third cluster is sort of a guessing game. Joe Manchin has agreed to cheaper prescription medication, but it doesn't involve dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, vision, and all those other things. I don't know. Certainly, free internet certainly survived. And there you go. That is the illustrious Build Back Better Act back. But is it better or is it about the same? Hard to say. Here's what you need to know about the month of July and tonight's commentary from me. The month of July, in my opinion, is going to be a very severe month. It's going to really look like the month of May, but even more so. The month of May was the month that changed this year of this economy. In the month of May, we started off with Jay Powell having that interest rate spike. It was not a surprise because he told us in the month of February he was going to do it. But when he announced in the month of May, it was followed up by the shocker of a corporate earnings Q1 announcement from Walmart and Target saying they missed big time on earnings and revenue for Q1 2022. That caused the bear market. Stocks down 26%, and followed with Amazon and lots of other companies, and even continued with Netflix and most recently Bed Bath and Beyond. Build Back Better Beyond. No, Bed Bath and Beyond last Friday down 20%. It's not a particularly good look across the board. This month is going to start with corporate earnings again for Q2. And I believe it's going to be a trashing left and right. I don't believe it's going to be good. Number 2, we're going to see the consumer price index number for the month of June. Is inflation peaked? Has it not peaked? I do not believe inflation has peaked. While gasoline did go down in the second half of the month, I don't believe it went down substantially enough. I think inflation is going to come in about the same. Number 3, we're going to see that interest rate spike from Jay Powell announced the Federal Reserve is going to be 3 quarters. But are we going to get guidance for the month of September? Unlikely. They're off in the month of August. We're going to see the unemployment numbers Thursday. New jobless claims, yes, 230,000 is my projection. And we're going to see the non-farm payroll job creation numbers on Friday. Not going to be good at 250,000, down from 363.9 as detailed early in this recording. It's just not a good look. And of course, July 28th, when the Department of Labor just scares people's socks off by saying, hi, you're in a recession. You're in a recession because we posted a negative GDP growth for the second quarter that ended in June. Imagine how much is in the month of July. There's a lot in the month of July. Finally, let me go over one subject matter, which I keep on forgetting to go over, which is important to note. When you talk about the Build Back Better Act, Republicans and Democrats look at the situation differently. But when another economic environment is upon us, they look at it the same way. This is fascinating. Republicans believe that if you're enduring inflation currently, then passing the Build Back Better Act makes inflation worse. Democrats disagree. I also disagree. When you're in a recessionary environment, Republicans and Democrats both agree that you need assistance, you need stimulus. It's interesting. Now, in 2021, I had a lot of recordings on this channel when Mitch McConnell and I believe it was led by Mitt Romney, said, let the Democrats do the Build Back Better Act. Now, remember, Republicans can't block it because they don't have the votes for it. It's a reconciliation. But the narrative at the time was the Republicans let them do the Build Back Better Act, the Democrats, because they will make inflation worse and then they'll lose in the midterm elections. My takeaway, I don't want you to get caught up in it. I don't want you to get caught up in it because it's hyper-technical economic analysis. Does doing stimulus hurt the economy or help the economy? It's a little bit more complicated than a senator running their mouth. What I want you to understand is that you can hear a lot of it. You can hear a lot of it in the next few days. I won't really cover it here. What I'm focusing on is this type of money. Big money for you. Big money for you. I'm focusing on you surviving the financial cliff. And that's why we're not focusing on Build Back Better Act. We're focusing on the 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You get the money that's available to now because look at all the dates. All the dates are just days away, weeks away. They're very close. And if a recession's underway, imagine how many Americans will be on this channel looking for stimulus. Their back's going to be up against the wall because Americans always wait to the 11th hour. You're not going to wait for the 11th hour. You're going to get the money tonight. You're going to start getting the money. Promising yourself 3 things. Number 1, you'll watch the videos on this channel on a regular basis. Number 2, you'll bulk up stimulus, you'll raise your savings, and you'll remove adjustable rate debt in the home. That is car loans and credit card debt. And number 3, you'll get as many checks as you can get today, and you continue to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Become a member. Go right in this video right now and become a member. It's LALATE, the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, but heading to number 2, because in the next 90 days, you're going to see a brand new look, and it's going to surprise you. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good evening. Have a beautiful 4th of July weekend. The programming continues throughout the night and always on this channel. With evenings LALATE at 5, countdown at 6, Shreen and Stimulus at 7, Extra at 8, Sunset at 9, and programming continue tomorrow morning with Early Mornings LALATE. Have a beautiful night. God bless. And get that big money as the night continues on evenings.